Thank you very much. Good morning. It's indeed a pleasure to be here this morning. Thank you to Suriname for hosting this. I'd like to start by putting things in context, especially for us in the region. The region is the CARICOM, the Caribbean islands, our friends in CARICOM, our brothers in CARICOM, Suriname and Guyana in particular, Latin America and Africa. This is the context. We are being lectured by the developed world. The developed world want to tell us in a continuation of colonialism how we must develop our hydrocarbon resources. Allow me to just read something to you from the Journal of Petroleum Technology, dated January of this year. And listen carefully. France turns to coal as nuclear plant shutdowns threaten power grid. France expects to exceed self-imposed limits on coal usage to avoid power outages. This comes as nuclear power plants undergo maintenance and there are not enough renewable energy systems to fill the gap. As important as going green may be for the environment, France now seems to have no choice but to turn back to coal-fired electricity as a quick fix to avoid possible power outages in January and February. With 17 of the country's 56 nuclear plants temporarily shut down for planned or emergency maintenance, the French Ministry of Ecological Transition wants to raise limitations imposed in 2019 on the number of hours its three remaining coal-fired power plants are allowed to operate. And the article goes on. So the developed world, when they face an energy crisis, rush to coal. The worst hydrocarbon fuel is coal. But they want to come down now and put pressure on the developing nations who have hydrocarbon resources and tell us about decarbonization, about sustainability, and about what we must do as we try to develop and get ourselves out of it. Anyone who attended COP26 last year would have seen, ironically, on the way to Glasgow, all of the wind turbines at a standstill. Renewable energy wasn't giving them sufficient power supply in Europe. Immediately, they were restarting coal plants that were about to be decommissioned. The conversation changed with the crisis in Russia and Ukraine. Energy crisis in Europe. Again, they are now restarting, as I've just used one simple article with one country to point out to you how they react to that. Coal is the single worst polluter that is causing what we're facing here. I tell my other CARICOM brothers and sisters, Suriname, Guyana, you've been fortunate. Barbados, potential. Grenada, potential. Lots of potential in Africa. We have been fortunate enough to find hydrocarbon resources. We must come together. The message yesterday from the president of Guyana is the same message. Now is the time for us to band together with our resources and to do what we need to do in a very measured and responsible way in the development of hydrocarbon resources. Because I guarantee you, if these developed countries had the hydrocarbon resources, it would be a very different conversation. So the message is, we will work together. Trinidad and Tobago is committed to working with the CARICOM region in particular, Guyana, Suriname, the other provinces that have hydrocarbon resources, as well as Africa and Latin America, to provide energy security in a safe, cleaner manner. Because the technology that exists today will allow us to develop our hydrocarbon resources in a cleaner manner. And my caution to my friends who are now getting into this journey, be very careful about the carpetbaggers that come rushing to you with all of the solutions in the world, all of the messages in the world about how to do transition. Fix your home first. Do what you have to do first before you come to lecture us. We will listen, but do not underestimate the power that we have and that we will develop together. And that is how I want to start this morning's conversation. Because we are not sitting quietly and worse yet stupidly. We are looking on. We have the intellect. We have the ability. But our strength will come when we band together as one and sing from the same hymn sheet. And that's the message here today. Let us in the CARICOM region look after the energy security not only of the CARICOM, but also of Latin America. And we welcome our brothers and sisters from the African continent as well, who have significant resources. And very often, as their resources are exploited and used for the developed countries, they are being left behind. Because that is the conversation I've been having in the last 9 months as I traverse the globe. And I'll end on this part. Trinidad and Tobago has immediate capacity in both LNG, ammonia, urea, UAN, which go into the creation of fertilizer. Right now, the developed world and the rest of the world in this region need gas, they need fertilizer. There is one single decision, again being taken by a developed country in the form of sanctions that prevents us from fulfilling the equation that we are unique in the world. Proven reserves right next to existing capacity to produce LNG and fertilizers. It is time we in the region have our voices heard, and that is the message that must come out of this conference. Respectfully, and as we go forward, let us work together to develop. Hydrocarbons are here to stay, in particular gas is the transition fuel going forward. The balance going forward will be a balance between renewables and gas. Brothers and sisters in Suriname and Guyana, Barbados as you get into it, we must protect our natural gas resources going forward to develop the region. Thank you.
Thank you. Minister Young, that was crystal clear.
I hope I'm still allowed to travel after this.